ragtime music? Ah, not again. Halloween is closing in again, and I thought it was finally time to tackle one of the main things that made me want to start talking about movies and such to begin with. The one, the only, the terrible Hemlock Grove! Hemlock Grove is a Netflix original that features a werewolf-infused murder mystery and stars Landon LeBoyron and Bill Skarsgård. Sorry, I just don't like him. I don't care for him at all. It was created by Brian McGreevy, and I'm going to go with that instead of the director this time, since those can change from episode to episode. One important thing to mention is this show ain't for little babies. In fact, I don't know who the heck it's for, but I know for sure it ain't a family picture. You might be thinking, werewolves? Murder mystery? Whatever could go wrong? Well, grab your silver bullets and let's give it a shot. The show starts with one of the weirdest and most unnecessary intros you can imagine. Ooh, and don't adjust your settings. The entire first episode has a spooky yellow filter on it that makes it look like you're watching it through a glass of tea. What the heck did he do with the ice cream?
You're so weird, woman.
Did I, mention this ain't a family picture? Because the show really wants you to know that right out of the gate. Then we get to see this girl at school. Is it a different girl? Who knows? Because this show has only given us his name despite the fact that we're following her whole day now. Because, you know, consistency isn't spooky.
Moving on to The Big Bang Theory. I loved it. Well, why don't you keep it? Really? I insist. Here.
I assume Girl 2 has the hots in her pots for her teacher, even though her teacher is a lady. What a twist! And as it turns out, her teacher's carrying around her own hot pots, making this the creepiest thing we've seen yet. Girl 2 goes to meet her teacher in the dead of night, but is attacked by Shaky Cam. She runs through the woods and luckily finds a solid hiding place. Oh no, who didn't see her getting attacked in there? Next, we get introduced to some guy and his mom. I'd give you their names, but they don't say them or anything to explain their motivations yet.
We're in business.
I'm gonna go for a walk.
Okay. Oh, baby.
Spooky. After getting settled in, Peter is ambushed by a strange girl named Christina, who's a budding writer and doesn't want anyone to forget it. She also specializes in voyeurism.
You're a gypsy. Seen you swimming in my grandparents' pond.
So you see me naked?
I don't care. It's just that I'm a novelist, so it's important to me to understand people's motivations. Are you a werewolf?
You gonna find me a vampire to have a sexless three-way with?
What? I'm beginning to think there's more predators in this town than just whatever attacked that girl. Ooh.
But your index and middle fingers are the same length. And I say that makes you a werewolf.
Are you a retard?
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Oh boy, are all the characters gonna be this likable? Also, if he's been here so long, swimming in ponds and getting to know the place, wouldn't that have been better character development and made for better viewing than listening to him and his mom make small talk? Guess not. That wouldn't have been spooky enough. Then we get to meet another set of characters. Roman's cousin and her parents. He's picking her up to go on what totally isn't a date to a local theme park that his mom rented for them.
Hey, girls.
Hello. Hey, Rome. She what?
Angels.
Pennsylvania. See you then.
Do you know that Pennsylvania has more hate groups per capita than any state in the country?
Then we get to see the scariest thing of all in this show, bullying. That tall emo girl with the glowing face is named Shelley. Get it? Like Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. Get it? She's Roman's sister, but we don't have time to explore that right now because we have to follow Peter home to hear him and his mom have more super vague discussions.
There's this kid at my school. He's an opier.
An opiate?
Yeah, but I don't think he knows it himself. They're the Godfreys.
Sounds like they called Roman something special. I guess we're not supposed to know what that is because they keep calling him that throughout the entire show. It would be a shame if someone just spoiled it. Oh, whoops, I googled it. It means something along the lines of day walker. Cool twist. We get treated to a flashback from 13 years ago and learn that Roman's dad didn't like that his mom was whoopsie-doodling behind his back with his brother, and he wasn't keen on Shelley's special effects face. So he did what every actor on this show should have done and kills off his character before the next episode.
It's not even 2 years old! It's already 40 pounds! It knows what you're feeling! You know it knows because of the light!
Have you considered putting Shelley in a
Do
special...
not call her that! I brought evil into our house!
Oh, come on!
She may look like a woman, but I will not be deceived! Help me destroy her!
I know you're What are you?
Annoyed, exasperated.
We get pulled out of the flashback to see Roman doing something totally normal. Tub drug. He's so relatable, isn't he? Yep, just like you and me. His uncle comes over to chat with his mom about the company his dad owned that belongs to them, which surprisingly isn't at all interesting, but it leads us down yet another storyline. So by my count, that's like 4 already introduced in the first episode, which is a really good sign, don't you think? Thankfully, something mildly interesting happens when the body of Girl 2 from the beginning is discovered. I bet you already forgot about that, didn't you? And of course, the police, being just as competent as everyone else in this town, assume that the first clueless teenager walking by is guilty of this grisly animal attack.
The car was all busted up on the road, window broken in.
Who could have done that?
Who's that kid?
Bring him to me.
But that doesn't really matter because we need to see Shelley write an email to her uncle. But no, we don't, because that's super boring. So we're gonna watch people chat and walk down hallways. Spooky! The chief discusses the animal attack with the lead scientist at the local laboratory named Dr. Price for some reason, and he's got some pretty weird ideas about animal attacks.
Her phone was on when it happened. I got the impression that whatever it was that was attacking her wanted her to watch.
It is not unusual for them to disembowel prey animals to keep them alive as long as possible during the process.
After that, we get a little taste of the storyline surrounding those vials that Peter's mom was super stoked about. While the rest of the town attends a vigil for Girl 2, Peter likens the fire balloons to the jellyfish in his dream, as a wild Roman appears in the tall grass and attacks Peter with accusations.
What did it feel like?
What did what feel like?
Killing that girl.
Peter retaliates by using confusion and... Oh, wait. No, he's just confused.
I didn't kill her. I figured it was you.
Me? Why would I do it? People are saying you're a werewolf.
After they clear some things up, the Popo roll up and Roman politely asks them to leave in a totally non-suspicious way.
It's cool. Don't run. What the hell are you doing here? It's that punk gypsy.
We were having a conversation.
About what? Okay, come on, let's go.
But my old lady's gonna be a pain in the butt.
You know, on second thought, his old lady's gonna be a pain in the balls.
What? It's true.
Spooky fucker.
Shelley writes another email to her uncle, which leads us down another terrible flashback hole, but thankfully he's abruptly confronted by his daughter.
Dearest uncle, I followed your advice and asserted myself to mother. The gypsy boy I referred to continues to favor me with his charms. The kids are saying he's a werewolf. I assume it's because of the boy's admittedly excessive body hair. Yours always. Your daughter's pregnant.
But, she says the dad is an angel, so I think it'll all work out okay. Then we get to see a scene that's truly integral to Roman's development as a character. I bet you thought that was a joke, didn't you? Well, if you were paying attention, you'll see that I was only half joking. Let's reluctantly take another look. Bam! Right there. We can see by this super obvious tampoon that the girl is having lady time. And thanks to our prior Google search, we know that he's a vampire or something. And I'm gonna stop there because no thanks. Unfortunately, this is followed by a super boring scene where Roman's Uncle Norman accuses his mom of having something to do with his daughter getting pregnant, and she's all, "No, why would I ever do that? Let's whoopsie-doodle." And he's all, "Oh my gosh, fine, but this is the last time." Then we see Roman reenacting the reptile house scene from Harry Potter, while Peter is nice to Shelley.
So you going to this dance? Guess there's not much point in me going then, huh? Don't be sorry. We're too pretty.
As a reward for showing some human fucking decency, Roman gives Peter a ride home and tries to connect with him.
Is this funny to you? You want to lift home?
I had a dream about that the other night.
Thanks for the ride.
Then we get to see Christina again, who's getting ready for the high school dance with friends who are just as obnoxious as she is.
I don't know, we just had a moment. English. Okay, how do you even know what a moment is? Will you let her tell her story, you fistula?
Unsurprisingly, Roman and his cousin go to the dance as each other's not dates. But the scene quickly cuts to something more spooky and less creepy. A random fella is desperately running through the woods trying to escape the show, but it only serves to introduce us to another storyline.
How do I look?
Oh, he's not even gonna come in?
It's Roman, Mom, not a date.
Listen here, prostitute. I don't know what you did with my cousin, but we're not leaving until you spill, see?
I didn't sign up for this!
But why explore that when we can get back to the totally rockin' high school dance? Christina and her friends are dropped off, and we find out that the sheriff fathered those two little gems, and somehow he still can't tell them apart well into their teens, but who can blame him when they look so much alike?
Alexa, seriously.
Dad, I'm Alexa.
Right.
Right
here. 10 o'clock sharp.
Dad,
right
you're
here.
so
no
annoying.
wandering.
Come on, okay?
Isolated in.
Inside, we see Roman react reasonably to his cousin chatting with another guy. And as it turns out, Roman is a lot more like Harry Potter than I gave him credit for.
I'm a writer.
While he's driving his cousin Letha home, they discuss her condition in a sensitive and relatable way.
What? Are you pregnant or something? Shut up. Shut your lying whore mouth. Who?
You sound like the world's dumbest owl.
Unfortunately, they get interrupted by the rogue storyline from earlier.
What the hell?
Ouroboros. Today I seen the dragon. It was you.
I saw that cheerleader. I saw her get killed.
The next day at school, Roman asks Peter a question that would be odd under most circumstances.
And if the wicked man...
Didn't they just meet? How much time has passed? Do these teenagers really believe this werewolf business? Why? Have there been other werewolves? What's going... Naturally, Peter brings Roman home right away and does what every guy does when he brings home a friend for the first time. Gets butt naked and shares his darkest secret.
We safe here? Yeah.
And then we switch back to Uncle Norman interviewing the rando whose name is Francis. He says some vague stuff about being experimented on and killed and such, which you'd think would be more interesting, but it's not. So instead, let's see what Christina's up to.
Baby,
Wait, what's she doing?
you sure look a little pale.
No.
Mouth to mouth?
No.
Or have pretty lips?
No! There's one thing this show is missing this far into the story. It's another character. That's right! A new face joins the cast as we're introduced to a cheery investigator from the Catholic Church named Clementine. After being introduced to her, we're led back to the high school and see that the school has moved on from believing those silly werewolf stories to believing that sweet Shelley was responsible for eating those two girls. Thankfully, her big brother Roman comes to rescue her by relying on homophobic humiliation.
Come on, what'd you eat first? Who tasted better? Who's next?
Kiss his pretty little mouth. Get the out of here.
Then he meets up with Peter, who knows what's been attacking the girls.
It wasn't he. I know. Vargolf. Well, Vargolf is a wolf that's gone insane.
We switch back to Clementine, who, after investigating the scene, has some interesting theories about the animal that's been attacking the local girls, but only after sharing her expertise in tracking people.
This print was made by a Caucasian male, approximately 200 pounds.
How do you know Caucasian?
It's Pennsylvania. What I can't tell you is what kind of animal left Lisa Willoughby here.
The only logical motive for it to be left here is if it was meant to be discovered. A trophy.
We're then briefly introduced to Peter's cousin.
Hey, sweetie.
And then we check on Clementine's investigation as she interviews Christina. And Christina doesn't waste the opportunity to make it weird.
Is it weird that this is your job when you're a girl? Well, I'm a novelist, so it's important to me to understand people's motivations.
Of course. Aren't I lucky to be talking to the next great American novelist?
After that, she heads to Peter's place and conducts another totally normal police interview.
I don't suppose you are by any chance a werewolf, Peter.
I beg your pardon?
When the moon is full, do you walk in the skin of a wolf?
No, ma'am.
Peter goes to Roman's place to tell him about Clementine and uses some colorful language to describe her.
What's the big deal? All right, this woman is what she says she is, like a Mexican hates fireworks. What is she? She's a digger.
A what?
She's a digger.
Right, of course. Because everyone uses that word to describe investigators. We finally catch up with Letha again as she dreams about the cool way Peter eats fruit. And we get to see Clementine interview Francis, and she gets plenty of valuable clues.
Your wings are wet.
Excuse me?
After that, Roman gives his cousin and Peter a ride home from school, and they tell her that they're planning on hunting down the werewolf and ask her if she can find out more information about what Francis saw from her papa. Then we see that Roman's mom intends for Letha to have her baby at the Godfrey facility, but surprisingly enough, That's all just night-night nappy time fuel, so we'll go check on something guaranteed to entertain Christina.
I'm highly medicated. Did they give you like a million awesome tranquilizers? Salpomax for post-traumatic stress, trazodone for insomnia, and Lexapro. Lucky.
Next, something interesting finally happens when the boys go out for some good old-fashioned grave robbing. But they gotta get out quick.
You make this look easy.
Someone's here, someone's here, someone's here, someone's here.
Then Shelley finally uses her uncle messages to say something vaguely relevant to one of the many plot points.
Today, I have seen the dragon.
Speaking of Shelley, how about another flashback that kinda sorta explains what her whole deal is, huh?
This is crazy, JR. Shelley deserves a chance. What condition's the body in? Her name is Shelley.
Peter and Letha have a conversation and Roman gets totally jealous. Because, you know, that's his cousin and totally not someone he's got romantic feelings for.
I'm just glad the two of you are getting along.
Clementine goes to interview Dr. Price, but he's wise to her tricks.
You're not planning on recording our conversation, are you, Doctor?
Johan, is there any chance any of your test animals could have gotten out?
None whatsoever. I suffer from what is clinically described as hysterical strength.
When she tries to make herself feel better about her broken recorder, she gets smacked in the face with a big fat flashback.
Look at us, a couple wily desperados thrown together by fate.
Can I have my baby here?
Sacred Heart of Jesus, please pray for me.
Then Peter and Christina confront each other at school. After that, we see that the police are at Roman's house to ask about the shovel he left at the grave, and his lies lead to one of my favorite scenes in anything ever.
What's the problem? It appears some deviants, and by some, I mean two, given the footprints we found, got down and dirty at the cemetery last night. Any idea how a shovel from your property wound up near an open grave?
Maybe somebody stole it.
You did this.
What if I told you that what I'm doing is important? That it is quite possibly the most important.
Quiet.
Yep, that's the stuff. One more time. Ah, sweet Sunday, I needed that. That pepped me up. Roman goes with Peter to give his cousin the intestines they harvested so her caterpillar can take a bath.
Hello, handsome. Sorry, buddy. Bon appetit.
After her caterpillar's had a good 24-hour soak, she eats it, which allows her to channel the spirit of the girl the intestines belonged to.
He was there, all big and all black. Ding, ding, ding. I've always had a way with dogs. I need to brush my teeth.
And just like everything else in the show, it was a wasted opportunity and didn't give us any real clues as to what the heck's going on. Then, Norman goes to visit Dr. Price and politely asks him about what that weird dragon thing everyone's talking about is.
Hello, Norman. Shut up. Tell me about Ouroboros, Johan.
One of our spaghetti projects. As in, we throw something against the wall and see if it sticks.
None of that explains why both Pullman and my niece reference something they call the dragon.
It's the most obvious explanation.
We're then sent back into Clementine's flashback where we get to see how she got her cool necklace.
God wants you to be strong.
That was fucking dark. That night, Roman escorts his girlfriend, cousin, Letha, to the Godfrey building for a gala, but her condition ends their not date early.
You always knew how to find the right spot.
When Roman goes to the bathroom, he overhears some grumpy goose talking smack and decides to take revenge by making his wife tie his shoes. But that gets weird real quick.
Well, piss on her. Piss on her. And piss on her, useless brat.
She's not tying his shoes. What is...
Oh my god. Roman?
Please tell Theo that the Institute will be in good hands.
And that was the first 5 episodes of Hemlock Grove. Can you believe it was only the first 5? Were you scared? Confused? Disturbed? Can you guess which one I wasn't? This show is such a tangled mess. Every time you try to get to the center, it just gets more confusing and the knots get tighter. It's hard to track when things happen and, more importantly, why they even happen at all. And so far, it's hard to like any of the characters because none of them really seem to have much of a personality. They're always talking, words come out of their mouths, but the writers were so worried about keeping the mystery alive that they hardly ever actually say anything meaningful. What should I expect? This show gives as much thought to character development as I do about wearing matching socks. But I have to admit that the werewolf transformation and the spirit channeling scenes were pretty cool, if nothing else. Well, that was 5 down. How much worse can the next 8 be? Until then, thanks for watching.
Of course, if he had learned anything during his years within the gulag of academia, it was that rational decisions based upon the premise that other human beings were rational agents were, in fact, a f***ing lie.